And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Pug Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right, welcome everyone to Weighing In, our podcast between Big John McCarthy, Josh Thompson, Podcast Dave. Look, he's even repping the shirt today. Finally pulled that thing out of the closet, huh? Very nice of you to finally rep what we do around here. Thank you, Podcast Dave. Jeez, I wish you would get a haircut though. Who cut your hair, son? Jeez, look at that. It looks like a chia pet. It's like a little longer on top, kind of frizzy on the side, but whatever.
It's nice that he would allow his son to cut his hair.
Yes, it is kind of nice. I think he just used the number
I didn't say
one.
it's smart, but it's nice.
He used the little number one. I feel like you got a little sunburn. You are truly the whitest Scottish guy I've ever known. It was like windy kind of a little bit out there too. So you got that windburn. You got that windburn a little bit. What lake did you go to?
Tulloch.
Oh, Tulloch, huh? Yeah. Where's that? That's kind of far. What, hour?
It's like
40
2
minutes?
hours.
Oh, I was say about an hour. I thought it was an hour and a half. Other than that, I mean, how have things been? We didn't even talk since last week. I'm getting a ton of like DMs from people like, hey, why don't you guys do more shows? Like there's not much going on and there's all these fights being announced. I'm like, well, since we don't want to talk about politics, like that's really what's going on. Maybe we should talk, like what are we going to talk about? There's no fights, but we have plenty of fights now that have been announced that are coming up. And so we have some stuff to talk about after we talk about tonight, some fights. What do you think?
It was about what I expected. Just being honest. Just wasn't, there was a couple fights in there. I thought Marvin Natori looked really good.
Yeah.
He had a very good performance. I was wondering if he was going to get into that anger mode, and he does have a big
anger management problem.
Yeah, anger management problem. That's a good way of putting it. But sometimes he allows that to step into the cage with him, and he doesn't fight real smart at times. And in this matchup, even though he had the reason to be kind of mad again because Carl did not make weight a second time, 190 pounds, that's crazy. That's just wrong.
That's not even close.
You know what? He fought very well, very under control. And when he got the takedown, and I'll give, Carl Robertson had to move off of the cage to try to get himself off when Marvin was putting the guillotine on. Yeah. I've seen other guys do it at times, but I haven't seen it high level guys. And he, did the shoot off of it. It worked for him, but Marvin rode with it, got back to position, really fought smart. I was very impressed with him. He's improving all the time. So I was really impressed. His performance was the performance. And I look and I go, it said a lot about where he's going.
Yeah, I feel like, how do you say his name? Vettori?
Don't agree, huh?
Who? No. I do. What's it?
Marvin Natori.
Ventori.
Yeah.
So Ventori, I felt like he had already won the fight before he even got in the cage.
Really?
I think the mental aspect of it all, maybe all the buildup, whatever it was, not making weight for his opponent. Like, I just feel like it was, I think when he got in there, the confidence was at an all-time high. When you miss weight by that amount that amount, that means that you either didn't try or you really just mentally, like he was saying, mentally, you're probably a little weaker than most people would like to admit. And if 5 pounds is no damn joke.
Yeah.
We talk about
Jessica I missed and people were complaining, and yes, she missed, but it's a quarter of a pound.
Yeah.
Okay. That's understandable. 5 pounds is not.
Yeah. 5 pounds is like you didn't even try. I mean, like when I wake up the morning of, I'm already 5-6 over. Like that means I didn't even go to the fucking sauna to even try. So either you need to go up in the weight class, and with this performance tonight, what's his opponent's name? Robert.
Yeah, Carl Robertson.
Yeah, so him, and this is the problem we're gonna have tonight. Is I'm gonna have to be reminded a couple of times of who they are. But I was very it's just I feel like if you're fighting like co-main event, not only did you miss weight by that much, you looked horrible. You didn't make weight last time, and it's honestly. We were having this discussion before we started the show. I feel like tonight is an opportunity. The card that was put together was an opportunity because there was a lot of mismatches on the undercard. There's an opportunity for them to say, hey, if you don't fight well or to give me a good show,
say goodbye.
See you later. You're out.
Yeah.
We're cutting you guys. And the reason why they're cutting them is we don't have to fight you. We want to get you off of our roster and not have to worry about like, oh no, we got to fight that person because in 6 months, we don't know where COVID's going to be. We don't know where any of this is going to be. So let's get you off our roster and we'll revisit you later when we have crowds. And when we need more fights to happen that, you know, we could put you on the other card. Because this whole Fight Island card, this very first Fight Island is stacked. And there's a reason, and they're trying, we're going to get to that later. So let's not get into it now because that's easy to get into right now. But
I would rather talk about the Fight Island card than the fights that I saw tonight.
There's a couple on the prelims, honestly, that I was very impressed with. You know, in the touchy-feely fight, I want to get into a little bit as well.
Fili fight was a great fight.
Very good fight. There was a couple young, talented people that I was impressed with. On the undercard. I was like, wow, that was a good fight. You looked good. I know some of the fights were like 30 seconds. They were a minute, whatever it was. But it's hard not to be impressed with the kind of performances that they were having up until that minute, you know, up until the minute when they stopped the fight. The person I was most impressed with was, I don't want to butcher this person's name like Dan Cormier did last week. Yeah, I had to. I wrote some of the names down because I couldn't fucking even say their names.
If you say Tyson Dam, I'm going to be very upset that you couldn't remember that.
No. Is Davalishvili.
Oh,
him. He looked good.
Marab.
Yeah. He looked good. His wrestling he has looked like more of a judo background.
No, he's got a wrestling.
Yeah, it's so his wrestling judo, but he's got some nice head toss and some hip toss. He has some nice takedowns, nice step through. He had the double leg on the body lock, step through on the inside trip, but it looked more like a lift and trip. He looked very good, dominating performance. Controlled the fight everywhere. His ground and pound, I'm surprised he didn't try to get off on it more. It was nasty. Like he hit his opponent with some nasty ground and pound. I was like, wow, I was very impressed. I feel like the days of ground and pound have kind of guys and girls are really good at the movement on the ground to avoid getting hit with clean shots. But he had some nice ground and pound tonight that was I was very impressed with.
Well, you look at the camp that he comes with, you know, out of Longos. He's with Aljamain Sterling and Al Iaquinta and stuff. You know, he's had some good fights. He had that one fight. Oh God, let's say it's almost like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, against Ricky Simon when Ricky Simon first jumped into the UFC, and there was a controversial ending because Marab actually gets choked, and he gets actually choked unconscious, and he comes back during the fight, and the referee didn't see it, didn't really stop it. There's all kinds of stuff going on, and he was upset that the fight was called when after the bell, he was sitting there with his eyes rolled back kind of, and he said he wasn't out. The referee said he was. So he lost the fight, but you know, he's had some really good fights. He's the tough dude. He's a very tough fighter.
Yeah, I thought he looked very good. I thought he looked dominant. I thought his power on his stand-up was good. He was having a hard time putting the combinations and everything together, but he was throwing some heavy heat to close that distance, and I was very impressed with. He knew what his game plan was, and he stuck to it. Dedicated himself
to it all the time.
I was impressed with him. But the person I was most impressed with was this young lady.
Oh, you're talking about the tall Ukraine.
Yes. She's not from Ukraine.
Coming from Triple G's homeland in Kazakhstan.
Yes, she was very Agapova. Is that how you say it? Agapova.
Maria Agapova.
And look, and the reason why I wanted to bring her up, there was a couple reasons. She looked very good. She had a very nice stiff jab. She long range punching, super young. That she has the charisma. She reminds me a little bit of a current Joanna Jędrzejczyk, like the way she was before the introduction, a little bit built like her. I mean, I'm not trying to compare in styles of the talent level yet. I mean, she's very young. She's got a long ways to go. But I mean, for someone this is her first big fight in the UFC. She fought in the Contender Series, correct? Against Cortez girl, is it what's her name? Maria Cortez? Lopez.
No,
it's Cortez. Maria Cortez.
Hey, Cortez?
Yeah, Cortez. Is it Maria?
On Dana White's Contender?
Yeah. She fought against her. Anyways, she ended up losing. I think she ended up losing to her. Cortez got picked up. and she went and fought. She ended up getting 2 finishes in Invicta, and then she came over to the UFC. This was her first like real big fight in the UFC, and I thought she looked fucking phenomenal. Now maybe it had something to do with the opponent, but I loved the way she was fighting. She was aggressive. She was staying long. She knew what her body style was to execute it. She has the we've talked about this, I don't know how many times. She has the MMA body style, that long, lanky Anderson Silva, Izzy, like Luke Rockhold. I mean, she can go on and on about people that have had success with that type of body style. And she has it. And I thought she fought a good fight, and she has a little bit of that personality that I was like, oh, let's see who this girl is, you know? And so I got excited when she was getting introduced and she had the sway and the swag. I don't know. I liked it. I like that. I like that. I
felt bad for Hannah Cyphers.
I know, but I did actually. I did feel bad for her, but I also think to myself,
you talk about the highs and the lows though. Look at the highs and lows, because when Hannah came in, she came in and she won a couple of fights, and she kind of was on this little streak, and people were looking at her. That's her second loss in 2 weeks. She lost. If you recall, she fought Mackenzie Dern, got caught with a knee bar, and then in this fight, you could tell she got hit. As soon as she got hit with a knee to the solar plexus, that fight was over. She was hurting. Yes. You could see it. Mm-hmm. You could see it right away, and it's like, oh, you're gonna have a hard time surviving that, and she didn't. So.
Yeah, I was, but I have to keep going to the phone because I gotta look up her name. I can't even say her name. Agapova, anyways.
Agapova.
But the long lengthiness, the way she jumped on the back, she had already hurt her and injured, like, you know, was hitting her with some clean shots before that, but she had kept the intensity going. And that, I think from young fighters, I want to see that. I want to see the aggression. And then as you get a little bit more experience and you start getting into those fighters that have a little bit more skill level, you start dialing it back and getting more comfortable. But she should be walking through these
should be
earlier
pushing fights, pressing the action, being the lead.
Yep.
I agree with you.
And I was really excited watching her fight.
Damn, Josh Thompson, you are getting smarter all the time.
It's been hanging out with you. I think that's what it is. I've been hanging out with you. Hey, I got to tip my hat to you, right? Everyone, you know. So, those were the two that I was that I think I was probably like the most impressed with. I saw some of the other, like Tyson Nam. It was too quick of a fight to really tell. I've always kind of liked him.
If you recall, the guy that he fought, you know, he was in glory as a kickboxer, actually was in Bellator, but at 125 pounds, man, you could tell he took that fight last minute. He was heavy for, you know, his normal conditioning and stuff. But, you know, he got caught with a good shot, put him out. And that second shot, you talk about hitting someone with a big shot and he's out really, and the referee's trying to come in and the other guy comes. That second shot was on the button, man.
Yeah.
It just nailed it. So it was a nice way. I'm glad for Tyson. He deserves it. He's a good kid.
Yep.
He's you know, he's had some tough fights and stuff, so it's nice to see him get that win.
Yeah. Let's get into the touchy-feely fight. You and I would say we disagree. And I would say probably like majority of the time when we disagree on judging, that I'm normally right. And and it's true. It really is true that I'm normally right. And honestly, to be fair,
it's true that you're normally right.
To be fair, when it comes to judging, I'm pretty much right.
You're wrong.
No,
every time. In fact, you can look and say, whatever direction Josh goes, figure out the winner's going to be on the other side of that.
Okay. You know what? I think we should FaceTime your son in right now and see who he went with. And he was right. And he was right. Your son was right. No, look, I'm not arguing at all. Yeah. I had Fili lose in the first round because he got dropped, but
absolutely he lost first.
There was a little bit of confusion at the end because he picked up his opponent, slammed him on the ground. I thought he not knocked him out, but I thought he rocked him because he slammed him on his head a little bit. And there was no movement from his opponent, and all he had to do was make space and flurry, but he didn't. So when I saw his body not moving, not really defending the strikes, I was wondering what Fili was doing, but he looked like he was trying to get like hooks in, trying to control the position instead of trying to strike him. And I was thinking to myself, there's a good chance he could have got him out of there if he was really that rocked. I couldn't tell because his back was to us.
I don't think he was that rocked.
Yeah, but he wasn't defending getting hit though either at the time. And even Paul Felder had said, I think he's rocked. And I noticed that he wasn't blocking the punches that Fili was throwing. So it was a little weird at the end. So I don't know if the judges maybe picked up on that, but I had Jourdain. I had him winning the fight, but barely, only based off of the second round. And I had Jourdain winning the first. I had Fili winning the third.
This is exactly it. It was easy to say Jourdain won the first round.
Yes.
And it's easy to say that Andre Fili won the third round. So now it comes down to a 1-round fight, the second round. And what was the difference in that second round and what they did? I thought Fili had, in my opinion, he had the harder blows because that right high kick that he kept throwing, even when Jourdain would block it.
Kept going to the well on that.
Yeah, he did. But every time that Jourdain would block it, he was still getting his head rung because you saw him getting pushed over by the kick. Yeah. So it's telling you, you're putting a glove up there, but it's still rattling your cage.
Yeah.
And then he won the volume. He had more strikes landed overall.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough unless you're putting him down like, he did in the first round. That's why I gave it to Fili. But it was a close round. And if it had gone to Jourdain, it wouldn't have been a robbery, but I thought Fili deserved the win.
So in the second round, the way I looked at it was Fili landed the things that moved Jourdain around, but he didn't land the things that were clean and with power. So he landed he knocked Jourdain over, but Jourdain blocked it. Whereas
Stop doing this because Jourdain was not blocking like this. How was he blocking?
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Sorry. That's the difference.
Technical habit. I just do it automatically.
That's because you're doing it right because it takes a lot of power off. But if you just do this, you're eating that kick. A lot of the power is being dissipated into your head because your one hand can't stop that power. Where if you bring that other hand and you Dutch block that and bring that other hand to stop some of the torque on that kick, now the judge is looking and is going to go, that doesn't hit him as hard.
No, okay, so I understand what you're saying, but I felt like Jourdain had the spinning back fist, which I think it landed in the forearm or something like that. And then he threw a couple other, he had some good combinations where he landed the cleaner, I would say the cleaner, obviously harder shots because they were cleaner and they landed. The harder shots, though, that moved Jourdain around were done by Fili. But the ones that were landed clean, that I would score as like a clean power punch, I would have given it to Jourdain. But like I said, I'm a big Fili fan. I think when they announced it that he won, I was like, all right, cool, on to the next one. It was one of those things.
Onward and upward.
Yeah, you're splitting hairs, to be honest. I mean, it was
It was a good fight.
It was the best fight on the card. I don't know why they had it on it was right before the co-main or the fight before the. Yeah, I'm like, why are you not the main? Why are you not the co-main or the main? To be honest, it just was one of those fights where I felt like if you knew it was going to be a good fight, why'd you put it so low? Because it was action packed from beginning to end. It was very technical. It was very good.
Oh, good fight.
I thought
very well matched.
Fili needs to make a couple adjustments on going to the well so much with that head kick. I like that he throws it because he's so good at fast with it and he's quick. He's got power, but mix it up a little bit. Kick the body a little bit too. Get the hands to drop and worry about the body a little bit. Go back to the head. He kept going to the head so much. It was like automatic reaction, knowing that he's going to go to the head just to block. So that would be my only gripe about the whole thing. I thought the fight was phenomenal. The first round, I felt like he almost kind of just took off. He wasn't a whole lot of punch output. Sure, he was walking after Jourdain, but he wasn't really throwing anything. And I felt the same way about Calvillo in the first round of her fight with Jessica Ai. So I kind of it was almost like they just the crowd didn't get them amped up enough to go out there and get after it. And there was, you have the commentators really pumping them up. So it was one of those type of fights, but it was, you said you and I were talking the fights, you thought maybe the fights were a little, and I felt the fights were pretty good. There was a couple that were but I thought overall, even though they were complete mismatches, they were fun to watch. I was actually happy. I was happy. That girl, Agapova or whatever, I know I butchered her name again, but she impressed me and I got excited to watch her fight when she started going.
On her fight, though, you got to admit that head kick that landed,
Yes.
that was off of a left hand thrown and throws the left. You don't see people do that very often.
Stephen Thompson. I think
Thompson,
he's probably one of the only
exactly.
guys I've seen do it. He throw like
Yep.
I was very impressed. Yeah. I was very impressed. I like that style of throwing it as well. I used to do a little bit of like I'd throw the jab and try to throw the left head kick at the same time. So because you don't need a lot of power if you throw a good head kick. It's nice to set that off of just like it follows one after the other. Stephen Thompson, I think his first or second fight in the UFC, he had a knockout that way. I think it was his first fight. He threw the right hand or the
right hand
with the little right over the top. Boom, a little. Was it? A little like.
Normally, don't even teach it that way. It's awkward. Most people can't pull it off, but she pulled it off well. Just like Stephen Thompson.
But that says a lot about ciphers. That says a lot about her. She walked right through it, took it on the chin, and just she kept going, recovered really well, and try to get herself going again. But it wasn't enough. You could just tell. God, I'm gonna keep butchering her name. But anyways, Agapova. Yeah, she looked good. I thought she looked good. And here it is like midnight for you, or what? What time is it there? 1 in the morning for you? It's like 1 in the morning there for you, man. I feel like I'm super tired. I got up hella early this morning, like 4 a.m. I was like wide awake, and I'm like, all right, went and got coffee, did whatever. Couldn't go back to sleep. Been up since. Let's talk about the main event.
Let's talk about Jessica and Cynthia Calvillo.
Did you first? Did you have it that close?
No, I did not.
Neither did I. Okay, just want to make sure we're on the same. I didn't have that close.
I thought you could give Jessica the first round because Cynthia didn't throw that much.
Yep.
And after that,
nope.
I didn't see Jessica winning anything.
Nope, I didn't have that. Okay. But Jessica is number 1 right now, right, in that weight class. So where does that put Cynthia? Right there at number 2, number 3?
That jumps Cynthia right on up.
Man, jumping the line.
Come on, you got to look. Cynthia has fought a lot of top competitors. Now, yes, they were in the strawweight for, while she was there. But, she's got wins over like, Joanne Calderwood. And I think she had lost a decision to Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
But,
Didn't she lose to Alexa Grasso? Didn't she lose to Alexa Grasso?
No,
or she beat her?
No. Loss.
I thought Alexa Grasso and her fought, and then they never did. Well, because Dave one time like met Cynthia Calvillo, and all of a sudden he's been like just following her around. That's why he was late getting to the studio today. He's like, I gotta stay and watch this fight at home. Just glued to the TV because Dave's a fanboy. It was very impressive though. I thought she looked good. I felt like she did a great job considering she's made this is her first fight under AKA. And then on top of that, the gym's been closed. Up until last week, the gym's been closed. So I have no idea where she did her camp at, knowing that like the gym's been closed. So she's been probably training a little bit on the side with Ron Kessler in his garage, probably doing whatever she could as far as conditioning, cardio, and to take a 5-round fight. I don't think people understand how hard it is, like to have a real camp and still fight a 5-round fight. But then not to have a real camp and fight a 5-round fight against someone like Jessica it's impressive. I'm super impressed.
I was very impressed with her.
By both of them, not just one, but both. They both look good going into the 5th. It wasn't enough for Jessica to get the job done. Cynthia Calvillo looked great. You could see there was moments there where she looked tired. She'd throw the jab out in the arm and go down by her knees. There was no retraction. They weren't straight out, straight back.
It was drawing. I was drawing the big circle.
Yeah,
she's dropping it out, and that's fatigue.
Yeah, 100%.
That is fatigue. That's what happens.
So when it came down, I didn't have it that close at all. I had, like I said, you said, Jessica went in the first because Cynthia just didn't do anything, and her corner even told her like, "Hey, she
gave a lot of head movement, a lot of feints, a lot of in and out." That was about it.
Exactly. So then as the fight went, and then when she dominated the wrestling, that must have been a huge confidence builder for her to get the takedowns, dominate the top position. And I was like, oh, wow. Well, keep getting back to this well, go back to the well, over and over. And
why do you think that Jessica decided I'm going to be the counter fighter in this fight? Where is that you think that's what's going to be your advantage?
I don't. Honestly, let me tell you this. You should. Why are you asking me that question? Ask her coaches. I have no fucking clue.
I mean, seriously, I'm watching her, and she wins the first round, but as you said, it's because Cynthia didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And then she comes out in the second, and she's counter fighting. She's waiting for Cynthia, and it's like, you're the bigger, stronger fighter supposedly in this fight. Well, supposedly going into the fight, she's the one that has fought in the 135-pound class.
Yeah.
And Cynthia's coming up from the straw weights at 115. So you're the bigger, stronger, more powerful supposed fighter here. Why are you allowing her to dictate when this thing jumps?
John, I've told you.
Why are you not just setting the pace and putting pressure on her and making her do things that become errors that lead to your victory?
Well, John, I've told you for years now, you just don't seem to listen, is that cutting weight is pointless. It just doesn't do anything for you, okay? And like the fact that she's been cutting weight all these years and now she's here at 125, she's at her natural weight class. And like she should be here.
Go ahead.
So I've told you this for years. You just don't seem to catch on. So if I'm hoping that the fans can get you to finally agree with me.
Is that what it is? Okay, got it. I got it. Hey, I just want to tell you something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
just tipping my hat to you. Yeah. Here's the thing. Jessica, I felt like needed to make it a dog fight, and she didn't. She's not more technical than Cynthia Calvillo on the ground or on the feet. And there was not a chance for her to win that fight if she tried to stand on the outside and counter or try and like just stand, period. There was never a mix-up. She never tried to get a takedown. She never tried to like make it a dirty dog fight. She has, I feel like with the conditioning that she's got great conditioning. She looked fresh going in the fifth. She should have been pushing the pace a lot harder, like in the grill, dirty boxing, Randy Couture style. Like you train at, or she used to. I don't know if she doesn't still.
No, she does.
Yeah, she's still
training. She's training.
Why are you not following that strategy of Couture's? Like get in there, press him to the fence. Let's get after that dirty boxing. Let me clinch your head and just give you the business.
Single collar tie, uppercuts, knees to the body.
Anything. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I didn't get it. I'm not saying you need to force, you don't need to force the takedown, but you at least need to like make an effort. Like the game plan wasn't working after the third. And you could tell, like you said, the first round was 1-1, but then once you lost the third, you're like, look, if I lose one more round, I got to make some changes. Like I've lost 2 in a row now, and your corner should be telling you you're down 2 rounds. Like it's 2-1. Okay, I have you win in the first, at least telling her, like, I thought we won the first. It could be close, but I still had you win in the first. You got to be honest with your corner. Or your corner's going to be honest with you, I should say. And going into that third round, I said, you need to make some changes. We need to make this either a gritty fight, or you need to like start pressuring the fence and make it a gritty fight, or you need to start mixing it up. Punch, takedown, come back up, more striking, more kicking, back to the takedown, something. You don't have to get the takedown, but you at least got to threaten it to make Cynthia Calvillo be worried about it. And she never did that. Never. It was like, let me just stand there, wait for you to throw. I'm gonna throw something back. Let me wait for you. It never worked out. She was always a step behind. I felt like she was punching with T-Rex arms, and that's not a dig.
Yes.
It just was like very
No. Yeah.
It wasn't like like turning the hips.
She was pushing.
Yes.
She's pushing her, especially pushing with her right hand. It's like it's not coming out in a fluid motion. There's a push to it, and it looks like it's hampered, it's struggling. I don't know what to say with it, but it just doesn't look natural like a fighter's punches do. She looks like she's it almost looks like she's labored, meaning she's tired, and you can tell she's not tired.
And I would have thought after the Shevchenko fight that they would have fixed the problem with her blocking head kicks, and it was not fixed. In the first 3 rounds, she got kicked in the head 2 or 3 times. And she got lucky, I think, on the third one. She finally caught it. And then after that, Cynthia Calvillo stopped throwing them, luckily. Otherwise, I think the fight would have ended a lot sooner. Because Cynthia Calvillo stopped throwing them once she got that foot caught. And then Jessica didn't follow up to try to get the takedown. After that, Calvillo didn't throw it anymore. She should have kept going back to the well on that because it was open all day long.
I think once Calvillo hit the ground with Jessica, she said, I'm good. I know where I'm bringing this fight back.
True.
And that was all she was thinking about at that point.
Yeah, we talked about this, last week, right? When when somebody feels like they have an advantage and they feel very comfortable, let's just get through the fight, no injuries. And some of these fighters got the fight, a week or two later because they had no injuries. And, I can make 2 paychecks in 3 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Sign me up. Sign me up. So I think that was probably something like you just suggested. Like she was able to get takedowns pretty easily. She was able to control top position pretty easily. And when she wasn't able to control the top position, she's like, I'm kind of winning the fight on the feet. I'm dominating, this whole fight all the way around. There's no rush or anything for me to do anything. I thought it was a good performance by Cynthia Calvillo, given the fact that, and like I said last week, these fighters are not looking like their normal selves. They're not, because they don't have their camps. And I got a ton of heat in the comment section, because Dave likes to sit there and read it all and then tweet it to me and send it to me. But he's kind of troll like that. So, when that all happens, I'm like thinking to myself, you guys got to pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. A lot of these fighters are good. They're extremely good, really good, or they wouldn't be in the UFC. They wouldn't be in the bigger promotions.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're a tad off. Everyone's a tad off. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just simply saying we don't see the intensity we normally see from them.
It's a combination of things that you're talking about. It's a combination of their normal, camp and the way they're used to that camp playing out and going from my striking to my conditioning to my grappling at night or whatever it is, however they mix it up. I don't think they have that same setup. It's not the same flow. It's definitely not the same people that they get to work with. So that is changing. And then the environment themselves, this is where you get into, the brain is the most important element there is in fighting. You try to tell people that and people get into this. Oh, it's 50-50. No, it's not. It's 100% mental. If everyone's got the body.
98.
Okay. It works. Okay. All right. I'll go 98. But and it's when you talk about this environment, it's different, and it's no different than when you sit there and you tell people, okay, here I'm going to put this 2x4 on the ground. I want you to walk across it, and so you walk the 8 feet across the 2x4 on the ground. Okay, and now I'm going to take the 2x4. I'm going to put 2 20-foot ladders and put the 2x4 on the top of the 20. Now walk across it, and people end up having problems, not because of that 2x4 got thinner. It's you were able to walk that 2x4 on the ground, but the atmosphere has changed. And so the circumstances change because your mind changes, and it just becomes this overwhelming thing that all of a sudden you start to tighten up a little bit more. It's a different feel. It's a different atmosphere, and you can't perform the same way. And I think you're right.
Yeah. That's weak-minded people like Podcast Dave. That they have that problem on the 2x4. That's the kind of people. I'm just kidding. I'm completely kidding. Not about Podcast Dave. I'm kidding about the fighters having that issue. But it does. It comes down to the fact that there is no crowd that you're used to. There's not as much music. There's the energy in your corner is probably not the same. Just everything plays a factor. Just the lead up in the even in the locker room, things that we probably that I know I haven't seen yet, but I know it's a factor. The people, like when you're in the back and the crowd's crazy in the front and there's fights, you can hear the crowd going nuts. You can hear like the sometimes the walls shake, and it depends on how shitty of a arena you're in. But sometimes the walls shake. Like you can feel the shake. Oh,
you will feel that whole building shake.
Yes, you can. There's moments you can hear it, and you're thinking, and you're warming up, going, "Yeah, that's about to be me in a little bit. Like that's about to be, And so there's all that stuff that leads up to it. All that stuff is gone now, and so you got to bear with the fighters. And like I said, some of the performances tonight, considering the situation and what they're dealing with, I was impressed. I was impressed with the younger men and women that were fighting tonight. I was impressed, even though they were quick fights. Some of them were big mismatches. I think I saw a couple of the betting odds. Like it was like -650.
Yeah, there was a couple.
-700. I'm like, this is a little rough. Like, how are they even matched? Why are they even matched up? But I'm gonna. You
said why they're matched up.
I said it. I think they're gonna try to trim the fat a little bit.
It's called a sink or swim.
Yeah. They may, and they're going to bring them back.
Sink or swim fight.
They're going to bring them back when they get a little bit more.
No, they're not. Once they get more experience.
Well, if you're losing,
they continue to win.
If you're losing in 30 seconds, they probably will not bring you back. And I feel bad saying that because one of those fighters might be listening to this and they're gonna be like, oh fuck, my career's over. But you'll probably know by tomorrow before this thing posts that your career is over. So I feel bad. It's horrible to say, but they're trimming the fat. They put mismatches like that because had you came out there and had a great fight or won, being a negative 650 or 700 underdog, whew, we got something we can build on now. You rose to the occasion. You did this. You did. It's something they can work with.
Yeah.
No, not right now. All right. Well, that wraps up that fight card, and I thought it was a great card.
I'm glad you thought it was a great card. I thought it was pretty boring. Overall, Andre Fili was a great fight. Loved that fight. Loved that fight. It was great. Loved, as you said, Agapova and her performance and the way she went after it. Loved that.
There was a fight I wanted to talk to you about. What was was it Rosa and Aguilar?
Charles Rosa?
Rosa and Aguilar. How'd you score that one? Was it Aguilar or Rosa?
Aguilar.
I am trying to remember.
Aguilar.
Aguilar. It was Aguilar.
It was a split decision.
It was a split.
Yeah.
And Aguilar won.
No.
He lost.
Charles Rosa
right?
won.
I had it for Aguilar.
Okay.
Do you have it for who? You had it for Rosa?
I honestly can't.
It was the fight. It was the fight before. It was the co-main. Before the co-main event. Yeah. It was the fight right before the co-main event.
I remember the fight.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I scored it.
I had it for Aguilar. I mean, I guess. I don't know. It was one of those fights where Rosa just fought, 2 weeks ago? He fought Mitchell.
Lost to Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell. Yeah. And was it a month ago? Was it a full? Wow,
he was in Jacksonville.
It seemed like it was just yesterday, like a week or two ago.
Yeah, that was one of the fights in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah. So I had Aguilar winning. It was close though too. It was close, but I had Aguilar winning the fight. So when I broke it down, but I wanted to see what you thought on it if you were keeping tabs on it. But the main fight that I was really concerned about was the Fili fight because that was a good fight, technically good.
That was a really good fight.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in on that, and
See you later.